Yeah, whatever. Hey, folks, that's Casey and the Sunshine Band, but you knew that. This is the Eric Metaxas Show. A lot of crazy things are happening in our culture. One of them is happening in California. Actually, 98% of all the crazy things are happening in California. Right now, there is a bill that is purporting to outlaw anything that would help people get rid of unwanted sexual desires. So if I'm attracted to a man and I discuss with my wife and I say, you know what, I wish I could get help because I'm also attracted to men sometimes and I want to be attracted to you. I wonder if there's a place I could get help. And then she says to me, you know what? It's illegal in this state to sell a book that could help you do what you want. It's illegal in this state. In California, a bill is being proposed to make it unlawful, illegal to help anybody find a way out of gender confusion or same-sex desires. In other words, to do whatever they want. It's now illegal. And so I thought we need to talk to our friends at the Alliance Defending Freedom. On the line, we have Matt Sharp. He's a senior counsel there. He's director of the Center for Legislative Advocacy. Matt Sharp, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me on.
I just can't tell you, without Alliance Defending Freedom, I kind of wonder who would deal with stuff like this. When I read this, smoke comes out of my ears. I think even if you're pro-gay, because there are a lot of people that are pro-gay, but they say, but this is un-American. This is un-American. People should have freedom in America, just as somebody should be free to explore their sexuality if they want to be gay. We say that's not illegal in America to do that. But if somebody has same-sex attraction, they say, I'd rather not. It is literally being proposed that it be illegal to do anything to help them. If you publish a book with the stories of ex-gays or something like that, in California, this will be illegal. It means that the books of friends of mine, Rosaria Butterfield, Christopher Yuan, many others, those books would be illegal. This is like we're entering a totalitarian state. What is happening?
Yeah. So this law would essentially tell counselors, churches, religious ministries, anything like that, that if they offer any of these services, these counseling services to help people with unwanted attractions, it is fraudulent and deceptive to do so. And so, you know, we brought up the situation of a married mother of three wants to talk with a counselor because she's starting to feel some attractions to a close female friend, but says, no, I want to be faithful to my husband, what's best for my kids. This would now outlaw that. And I think that's a terrible thing, to take away the freedom of individuals to make their own choices when it comes to these counseling goals. They ought to have the freedom to sit down with their counselor and say, this is what I'm going through. Can you help me achieve this? But now California is saying, no, we are placing those goals and those objectives completely off limits to you. We know what's better for your sexuality than you do.
I mean, I have to say, if conservatives, social conservatives or Christians, people of faith, would start to say that we can't help somebody who wants to explore their sexuality in this other direction, people would lose their minds. And yet here we are doing precisely the same thing. We have the government stepping in and defining the lines, as it were, of where we can go and what we can think. How is it possible that anybody could get away with that legally? I mean, we know that this bill the vote on the bill has been delayed for a month. But you're telling me they are going to vote on this bill. Do you think that it might pass in California?
I think all signs right now are that it's going to. There's been a strong push to do this. It is their objective to snuff this out because they view this as harmful. They think telling a compassionate message of hope to someone that if you don't want these attractions, you can change, you can have transformation. I think a message that's really at the heart of the gospel. They want to call that deceptive to offer that hope to someone. And I think what's most tragic is there are countless Californians that are starting to speak out and tell their stories of how they have experienced change and benefited from this type of counseling and these resources.
Well, it's
and to tell them that
basically
their experiences, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, it's basically been mocked and mocked and mocked. They say, oh, you can't just pray the gay away. Well, maybe you can't. Maybe it's not that simple. But for sure, there have been people, and I know some of them, who have had dramatic changes. They have said, I don't want to be in that lifestyle. They were in that lifestyle, and they've been married. They've had children. They love their wives. And you're telling me that it is illegal to help a person achieve that if that's what that person wants. That's going to be illegal. that is so fundamentally un-American and sick. That's why I wanted to have you on to talk about it. What is Alliance Defending Freedom going to do? In other words, if this goes into effect, what does Alliance Defending Freedom have as an option?
Yeah, we are definitely exploring all legal options, talking to a lot of ministries, churches, and others that are going to be impacted by this, subject to lawsuits, but also the individuals that are wanting this and are now being told by California that's off limits to it. I think it's undoubtedly going to be litigation challenging this because of its clear infringement upon constitutional rights of speech, of freedom of religion, of just to get counseling and set your own goals.
Well, you know what fascinates me is that I think that there needs to be more civil disobedience in America. I think that people of faith typically misunderstand what it means to be a person of faith, and they feel that, oh, I don't want to fight. I mean, if I lived in California, I would want to publish a book on this subject just to challenge it and to say, this is insane. How dare you? We publish pornography. We publish the Marquis de Sade stuff that genuinely is harmful and despicable and should not be published, which is worse than pornographic. We publish it. And anybody who says that Lady Chatterley's Lover or any of these books that once were banned, that we would ban them again, they would go crazy. And yet we are now talking about banning books that are actually trying to help people. It's not about making money. We're trying to help people. I honestly, I say it over and over. I don't know what we would do with the ADF. I want to encourage people on my website, go to, we have a banner there for ADF. But you guys are your heroes. And I shudder to think if you weren't fighting this battle legally, what would happen? I mean, we have people in politics who simply don't understand what American freedom is.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think that's why in situations like this, we need pastors and churches and others reaching out to their legislators and saying, this is harmful to us. This is impacting what we can do. This is in violation of our constitutional freedoms, because a lot of times the silence of the church is sort of a green light for these legislators to push ahead with this harmful legislation.
Well, I'd like to keep you on for another segment, so hang on. Folks, I'm talking to Matt Sharp. He's a senior counsel with the Alliance Defending Freedom. This is very important. Stick around. It's a beautiful day. Hey there, folks. It's the Eric Metaxas Show. We're talking to Matt Sharp. He's a senior counsel with the Alliance Defending Freedom, who are doing amazing work. I have to say, Matt, if it weren't for you guys, I shudder every time I think about what you're doing. What we're talking about right now is a dramatic example of lunacy. That there's a bill in California that proposes to totally shut down even the possibility of expressing how someone could get rid of an unwanted same-sex desire or how to deal with gender confusion in a positive way. I mean, this is also an affront to religious liberty, is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. Is that for a lot of counselors, pastors, it's very important to them as they're helping individuals to do so consistent with biblical teachings on these issues, and that a person can change their behavior related to attractions and gender identity and all of that. And then to tell them, you got to be silent. When someone comes to you asking for help, you have to now turn them away if they're wanting help overcoming these attractions. I think that's offensive and unconstitutional in violation of their free exercise rights.
Well, I think it's appropriate for people to get angry. I want to say this because I think a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't want to be angry. I just want to pray. You can pray and still be angry at the injustice. This is tremendous injustice. If you love people who are struggling with their sexuality, the very idea that the government would dare to say that you cannot help that person find the help they want. We're not talking about imposing help. We're talking about helping them find the help they want. It's just absolutely extraordinary. And isn't it true, isn't it true, Matt, that there are people, many people who have had dramatic changes in their sexuality and all this kind of stuff, and it's as if those people don't exist. It's like no, they're not. They can't be real.
That's right. We've seen several of them show up at the legislature at the Capitol with their families and say, "Are my families fraudulent? Am I lying when I say that I experienced a change and am now happily married with wife and 3 kids?" And I think it is such a affront to the dignity of these individuals to tell that their stories are a lie, that what they experienced is fraudulent and false and deceptive, and you dare not offer that to anyone else out there.
I guess the thing that drives me crazy is that, again, there are many people that really can't change their desires, and we have to be honest about that. But the point is there are many people who have been successful in changing their desires. And so, if you have unwanted same-sex desires, you don't know whether you can be helped or not. So, of course, you're going to try. There was a book written by Jeff Satinover a number of years ago on this subject. And he's very honest about how he'd work with people. He's a psychiatrist. Some of them couldn't change, but a number of them did change. And that's just his story in his practice over many, many years. There's so many people that have changed. To say that even the possibility is illegal is absolute madness. And if people just want to know why California is considered just plumb loco at this point, this is absolute perfect example that you're not talking about discriminating against gays. You're now talking about discriminating against people who want to help people who are experiencing same-sex attraction. It is just totally un-American. We're out of time, but I got to tell you, Matt Sharp, the work that you do and Alliance Defending Freedom does, we love you guys, and any chance I can to support you, just to get the word out. So maybe we'll talk again in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much as well.